This is my end of the year reflection, and I'm so excited to make it this far because it has been a long journey. But I'm not going to rant about that. I'm just going to go throughout the template that was on Blackboard, give my descriptions and little details of what I got to say about it, and that's how we're going to do this today. So before I start, I'm going to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Kiara Yancey. I'm an American Sign Language major with a focus in education. And this year, I had the opportunity of going to the early college high school where I observed 9th through 12th grade. And hopefully this experience will prepare me for my next semester of student teaching, which I've worked and been looking forward to since I've entered the program. So I'm excited to have come this far. So let's start. So the first bulletin or topic is record, and it says what was seen or experienced in the classrooms. So of course I've seen many things, and in my daily logs I actually have documentation of that, but a little overview is basically I've learned that students will only give the same amount of effort that you put into planning. Therefore, if you put no effort into planning, you can't expect your students to obtain the information you're getting like this. Like, is the way you're presenting the information fully effective? Because if not, you might as well just be lecturing, and everybody knows that lecturing is the least way that a student prefers to learn. Secondly, I've learned that classroom management, as stated, is a big issue and a big topic when it comes to owning your own or having your own class. And I've learned that classroom management is most effective when your expectations are consistent and not, oh, I'm having a rough day, so y'all act good today because I'm not feeling good. I don't feel like putting up with your mess. Like, no. If you have expectations, they need to be set consistently, because if you just say, oh, do this one day, and the next day you're lack on that thing that you got onto them for, will they really take you serious? 9 times out of 10, no, because they know you're acting off emotions and not evaluation. Okay, so that's it for that. The next thing is establish. So what was my overall learning goal of this experience slash observation? So my learning goal that I've set for myself after going to the class, I learned that it prepared me what not to do and what to do before I began my student teaching. I'm not saying my teacher was the worst, and I'm not saying she was the best, but there were definitely room for improvement, in which I saw, especially when it came to effective lesson planning, classroom management, and I've talked about those again, like in my daily logs, or even my disposition essay that we wrote about. So I took those notes and put them in the back of my head, so when I do have my own class, I know some little tips of what to do and what not to do. Secondly, it actually made me reflect on the growth that I've experienced since my first observation while doing junior achievement. And actually, my first observation was actually in the middle school and not a high school, so that's a huge difference right there. But it made me appreciate how far I've come, because I started my first observation, I think, when I was a sophomore. Look, I've been a senior for 2 years, so that's three, almost 4 years. So it's definitely been a journey. But like I said, throughout these years, I've definitely learned more and more throughout the years to take with me. So I feel like now I have a big old bag of goodies that when I go into my classroom, that I could just sit on my desk and pull out whenever I need them. Especially when it comes to assignments, because a lot of the assignments that I've had to do for class are really going to be helpful when I go into my student teaching, because I don't have to think off the back of, oh, what am I going to teach, or what should I do? Like, I have a whole list of documents that I can pull lesson plans, activities, so I'm grateful for that. The next thing is that during my observation, I've learned to implement everything that the courses that have taught me in the education department on how to run an effective classroom. I know I've had classroom management, diversity of learners, intro to teaching. All those classes taught me different aspects of what it takes to run an effective classroom. So with that little background knowledge and me with that background knowledge that I had with me and taking that into the classroom, it kind of made me shape my mind to what I would like my classroom to be when I do get my own classroom, or when I am able to run a whole classroom for a full day when I do get it. So the next thing to talk about is frame. So basically, what did I learn from this experience based on self-awareness, knowledge, and skills? So I learned a couple things. I learned that one, I am well knowledgeable on the topic I plan to teach, and also how to deliver that content. Because oftentimes people know what they teach, but they don't know how to deliver. And I think I pretty much mastered that skills, and I would like to thank my professors for actually offering me the opportunity by, like I said, creating assignments that will actually be implemented in my class. Next, I learned that I typically stress myself out more than necessary, but that is only due to the high expectation that I've set for myself as a future educator. And I feel that the pressure is really on me, especially as a Black female going into a foreign language major such as ASL. I feel like when I enter the field, eyes will be on me, but I know that I'm capable of upholding whatever standards that they have set for me, plus more. Lastly, I learned that learning is a gradual process, and oftentimes that I don't really see the growth in myself. But like I said, I've noticed that I am very much capable, and that as long as I continue to make progression in what I do, I will reach my full capacity of what I am fully determined to do. Next, so it says link. So link the classroom observation and experience to what is being discussed in the coursework. And I would say the one thing that I've learned is the class is full. Not even class, the school in general is a full, diverse population. So be ready to experience it with open eyes and an open mind. Lastly, it says evaluate. So identify one or two student specific need or specific student needs before, during, and after the activity. So the two needs that I've ran across was the LGBTQ plus students. So of course I know that there are many students who identify within this group, but like I've never had really interactions and actually experience like maybe what they go through. And this semester I actually encountered a student who was transitioning to a male, and that was really eye-opening for me because I've learned that society already puts ideas on what these people are, how they act, but it's even worse when the people who they go home to don't even value them or accept them for who they are. So after that, I've learned that as an educator, you have to really be willing to learn and accept all students for who they are, and also be a positive person in their life, because you might be the only person who is doing so. Secondly, another student need that I saw a lot was English as a second language. There were a lot of students who first language was not English, and I could tell because naturally they would use Spanish for their communication with their peers. And I know oftentimes it's said that a lot of students don't know English as a first language, and we are often taught in class how to provide the instruction to provide equal access. But while entering the field, which is high school, my field, high school, I learned that the providing instruction in another language really is not such of a big deal for those who already know English, especially because they've been learning English throughout their entire school years. You know, they're in high school now, so they've pretty much been acclimated to using it. It just comes to the issue I see that comes with is how they identify themselves with the culture, because like I said, oftentimes they're using English in class, but that Spanish culture is still within them. So after this, I've learned that regardless of which student here culture they come from, you have to teach the students that their individual cultures are unique and they should cherish them, because at the end of the day, that is still your community. The next one is connect. So how does this activity relate to the competencies in this course? It provides a lot of instruction on how to apply effective teaching methods and the right strategies to do so. I know I've learned that student-centered teaching is a big factor to helping students gain what is being taught in class. The last thing, it says target. So what new goals have I set for myself in a personal approach and in professional knowledge skills? So for personal growth, I have said that I would like to have more confidence in myself, and of course I already have confidence in myself, because if not, I wouldn't be so eager to go into a student teaching. But just being more appreciative and nicer to myself, and I can do that by showing appreciation for all the work that I've done and not being too critical on myself, because it's really just some extra unneeded anxiety that I don't need already. So those are the two things that I am going to work on next semester when I student teach. And secondly, my professional knowledge and skills, I would like to continue to expand my knowledge in ASL, because I know oftentimes people get their degree and I'm like, okay, I'm done with it. But ASL is such a rich and ever-changing language. It's always nice to be involved around the community that use it, and also never forget like where you came from, the process it took to get there, and also just to continue learning. And I plan to do this by continue to go into deaf events, even though it's not required like it was this semester. Just involve myself with the community, continue to use the language outside of school, and also maybe take a couple classes to learn new vocabulary, new concepts. Because even this semester, I've been taught it's been 5 parameters, but recently they're discovering maybe 6. So if you are not constantly learning, you will never know those things. So then you're just oblivious, and that makes room for you to become stagnant. Nobody should want to be stagnant in what they do. And another way I plan on doing this is also continue to check in with my professors who have helped me over the years. 9 times out of 10, they'll be more than likely glad for me to reach out to them. And also, like I said, to learn those different topics or concepts that maybe has been developed since I've graduated. And overall, I think I'm really prepared to become a student teacher next semester, so stay tuned. And also thank you, Dr. Sprout, for allowing me to be as great and wonderful as I can be, and also thank you for being there to encourage me along the way.